Hi, this is Dr. Tom Rogers at Performance Medicine, coming to you today on a Monday talking about something nutritional like I'm always talking about. I'm very interested in nutrition because, like Hippocrates said, let food be your medicine. And that's been my mantra for the last several years being a doctor. Instead of over-prescribing pharmaceutical drugs, try to prescribe good nutrition for my patients. And today I want to talk about reasons to avoid wheat. You know, we're all taught that wheat is good for you. Eat whole grain bread, wheat bread, etc. And I'm going to go over some reasons why you need to avoid wheat. It's kind of like you should avoid corn. I've talked about this in the past. You know, corn's a horrible food, and so is wheat. If you want to know why, go and search in depth, read a couple books. One's The Wheat Belly by Dr. Davis, a cardiologist up in Indiana. Great book that tells you why you should avoid wheat, and not just because it's got glutens in it, but that's one reason. Another great book is Dr. Perlmutter, a famous neurologist up in New York City, Grain Brain, and he'll tell you why to avoid grains. I've actually met both of these guys at different conferences in the last few years, but you know, corn's a bad product all the way around, from the way it's produced to the fact that it's carbohydrates. Part of my mission is, you know, curing type 2 diabetes and getting people to lose weight, fighting the obesity epidemic, etc. So let's go over reasons to avoid wheat. Because many people think that wheat is very nutritious for us. That's just completely wrong. Everybody knows that white flour is unhealthy. It is unhealthy. It's had all its nutrients bleached out. But it turns out, even with wheat, it has too. Even though wheat may have more fiber in it, it does. But there's a lot of reasons you should avoid this, and I'm going to go over them. First reason is modern wheat is not only genetically modified, GMO, but it's crossbred with toxic chemicals like sodium azide. They do this to increase the yields on this. They mass produce this. It's also radiated, and radiation is not great for you. Speaking of corn, I know I'm getting off on corn a little bit too, because it's a terrible product as well. I think like up to half of corn raised in the United States is really to produce ethanol. So it's not a great thing for food to put in your belly. So modern wheat has been modified to where it's not any good for you at all. I mean, many years ago, it may have been decent for sustaining nutrition. Nowadays, it's really not. The other thing is, wheat is drowned in pesticides all the way from seed to storage. They're estrogen mimicking hormones that they add to these pesticides that cause hormonal imbalance. Think increased risk of breast cancer and prostate cancer, similar to what they put in plastics. So pesticides, which cause hormonal problems. They also use high heat drying to destroy the nutritional value in wheat. So that's another reason it robs it of its original nutrients. And, you know, you're talking about celiac and gluten problems. Only 1% of Americans have celiac disease. It's extreme inflammatory bowel disease. It's very debilitating. But, you know, most of us, over 50% of Americans have a gluten problem. I know I have a gluten sensitivity, and it can cause chronic fatigue, irritable bowel syndrome, i.e. spastic colon. It can also cause food addictions. Glutens, which are proteins that are found in wheat, rye, and barley, and they put it in everything to kind of stick the food together. Think gluten's glue. It's also a preservative. That's why food will last for a long time even after you throw it away. or find it underneath your car seat a decade later and it's still in solid form. So glutens are a problem for most people. They really are. And you don't have to have celiac disease to have a problem. So cut out your glutens if you can, and that's easier to do nowadays because there's all kinds of gluten-free products. Now, it doesn't mean you'll lose weight with a gluten-free product. It can still be way too many carbohydrates and sugar. So you got to be really careful when you eat a gluten-free product that you can still get fat with and cause problems. So wheat also has neurotoxic properties. Back in the 1970s, psychiatrists experimented around with nutrition. And what they found was that when they removed wheat from schizophrenics' diet, their schizophrenia got a lot better. So it's definitely inflammatory for their brains. Other things you should think about in this vein are the surging cases of ADHD and autism and bipolar and dementia. Anything that increases inflammation of your brain can cause these neurologic problems. So think about what you're eating for brain health. Another reason you shouldn't eat wheat, it's a carb. If you're trying to lose weight, cut out the carbs. You know, we talk a lot about how carbohydrates can be bad for your weight gain and diabetes. Well, wheat's a carb. Like I said before, wheat is very inflammatory. It really increases what we call a leaky gut, that one cell barrier between your gut and your bloodstream. A lot of my patients come to me with all these autoimmune inflammatory conditions. The first thing when I sit them down and talk to them about is I ask them how their gut is. And about 95% of the time, it's terrible. You know, they say, I have gas, bloating, I'm chronically constipating, or I have loose stools, or I have GERD, esophageal reflux. I'm bloated all the time. That leads to problems with your brain, problems with your heart, problems with inflamed joints. So think about inflammation. In the beginning, inflammation really causes all diseases. So if you can get to the root of that problem, and that's certainly one way to start is by cutting out wheat products. So to me, avoiding wheat just makes common sense. And again, everybody's different. If some people can tolerate it and do fine, have all the energy in the world, their gut's fine, they're not overweight, they may be able to tolerate it. But for the vast majorities of us, wheat is not a good product, despite what you may hear and what they may advertise. Again, breads are carbs too. Probably my favorite bread, which you can't entirely avoid bread forever, is probably a really good sourdough mix bread. I won't say that celiacs do great on sourdough bread, but some celiacs can eat some sourdough bread. Not all of them, but because sometimes they do use wheat flour in there. But that's probably my favorite bread now if I have to eat. And again, I eat very little bit of bread, but if I do, it's usually some form of really organic sourdough bread. It just seems to impact my blood sugars a lot less. Doesn't make me feel tired like when I eat white or wheat bread. So look at the ingredients in the foods that you shop for. You know, if wheat's one of the first ones, it's got a lot of wheat in it, and you should cut it out. So listen to your gut, get a gut feeling. That statement came from somewhere that means something. Think about your gut first when you think about your health. So I'm not a big fan of grains, especially wheat grains. Look at your diet. A lot of times we'll do nutritional testing. We'll do a lot of food sensitivity testing. And because people are different, their gut reacts different. I love our product, Gluten Shield, that we order in by the caseloads because it has a gluten blocker in it. So if you inadvertently get some glutens or wheat, it will block some of it down. It also has lactase to block down lactose, which is milk sugar. It has a pre and probiotic, and it also has digestive enzymes to digest some of those fats that you're going to be eating an increased dose of if you'd like to lose weight. So that's Gluten Shield. So anyway, I hope this helps you. Think about what you're eating first and foremost for your health. If you have any questions, please see us at Performance Medicine, where we can do the proper testing and counseling for your optimal health.